What is a hill that you'll die on? Can be a pretty harsh question, a harsh term of phrase, because to die on a hill basically means if you get a gun pointed at your head and the person is telling you to change your opinion on that thing, you will not change your opinion and you'd rather die and you get shot because you're going to stand true to your values. So the hill that you're going to die on, even if it's not really like it's a tough thing because, who's to say that you'll actually be able to do that, right? But the hill that you die on will be basically, it can be rephrased as an opinion that will never be changed. So for me, I'm going to be going through a few different hills that I'll die on. Opinions that I imagine in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I will not change. I will stay exactly the same with these opinions and with these ideas and with these beliefs that I have about the world and about life in general. And these are things that my life philosophy will be completely based off of in the years to come. Gun pointed at your head, do you change like when your life's on the line, will you change it? That's harder to tell because I've never been put in that situation personally, but I've read, of course, I've read the Bible and I'll talk about that as well. But I've seen, of course, that's like, it's harder, right? It's easy to say, oh yeah, no, like gun pointed at my head, I will keep the same with these values versus will you choose life over death, right? It's hard. But it's a figure of speech, right? To die on a hill. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today. A few things, a few hills that I'm going to die on. And I think it's worth me talking about it because this podcast, as I'm kind of nearing the end times of the show, like within the final 80 episodes or so, it's 365 podcast. It's an episode every day. If you haven't seen it yet, that's what I'm doing on this show. That's why it's called 365 podcast. But I'm here nearing the end, so I think it's worth it because as I look back on my life and as I'll look back on this show, I do want to have a video where I talk about the things that this is my philosophy and this is what I'm gonna die on. These are the things that I'm going to stay true to when I end this show and as I grow older in my life and as things happen in the world that like in the world of uncertainty, in a world where you're not really sure where things are gonna go. These are the things that I will always stick by. And these are the things that will stay with me through it all. So let's start. Let me get right into it. So the first one, the most important one, the most important hill that I'm going to die on above all else is the fact that God created the world, that he came down onto this earth in the form of Jesus Christ, that we as humans chose to, instead of crown him, kill him. But God knew that it was going to happen, so he made that happen in the most beautiful, greatest prophecy that he instead he turned something terrible into something absolutely beautiful, that Jesus Christ suffered in the worst way imaginable, paid the ultimate price, became the ultimate lamb on the cross for all of our sins, for all of those that believe on him. And he rose up, he rose and he descended into hell, and then he came up, he resurrected from the dead to prove that he was the one who was talked about, the one who was promised. And then he rose up into heaven where he's seated at the right hand of the Father. He still affects this world today in many beautiful ways, and he will come back in the future. Jesus Christ, the ultimate Savior, the ultimate salvation. You put your faith in him, and if your foundation is in Christ, your life will be so much better, and you will attain a beautiful salvation, a beautiful treasure in the holy kingdom when your life on this earth is over. That is the one truth that I will stand by for the rest of my life. And I've given my life up to God, and I have put my faith in his hands. That faith in Jesus Christ is greater than anything else. Faith is the thing that you need to have a foundation for. If you follow the teachings and truth of the Bible, you will live a greater life. You will live a much more fruitful and fulfilling life than anything else. Reading any book, consuming any other piece of content, going through any other type of philosophy, nothing will compare to God's word and the instruction that he has blessed us all with. And he has given us this stuff for guidelines and for guidance. And if we give our lives up to him and we truly follow his teaching, we will live just even greater, better, more fulfilling lives, greater than anything that anyone else can ever think of doing and achieving and living. That is the thing that I will stand by until the day that I die. And yes, when you go about the whole die on the hill thing, a thing that really hits me, like a thing that really like strikes me hard, is the Peter story, where he says to Jesus, Lord, I will die for your cause. I will go to death. I will walk with you. I'll follow you to death, to everything. And Jesus says, will you? Because I know that, because I am God and I know, you will deny me 3 times when faced with that situation. So Jesus says that to Peter, and Peter's like, no, there's no way. I'm going to go to death for you. I will die on this hill, on this belief system that you are the Lord. And when push came to shove, when he was actually put in that position, he did actually. They were like, yes, he was with him. He was with him. He was with him. You should crucify him as well. You should put him up as well. Peter denies him 3 times, and the cock crows, and then he goes and weeps because he goes and cries because he realizes, oh, the Lord was right. And I didn't have faith and I didn't have strength to go to death with him. But you ought to, right? You ought to, because it's a very important belief, right? It is an important belief. And if you don't have belief strong enough that you'd be willing to go to death over it, it's not really a strong enough belief. Belief can be put on a spectrum. Faith can be put on a scale of low faith versus high faith. You do things, and usually it's through actions. It's like you do things that have faith, right? You go on the road, you drive on the road, and you have faith that a car's not going to just swerve and crash into you, right? That's faith that you would go and do that. It's like the most obvious example, right? Faith in Christ is based on how you live your life. It's based on action, and your actions dictate just how much faith you have, how you go about the business, how much you follow the teaching in the Word is how much faith you have. But I believe truly that, and Jesus says, even faith the grain of a mustard seed will allow you to move mountains. So, in comparison to any other belief system, nothing comes close. And I've lived my life, and I've seen different things, and I've consumed different content, and I've looked at different philosophies, and even on this podcast, I've talked about many different things. But to me, and it's the central theme of the show, the theme of faith and belief in God and Jesus Christ, and belief that these things actually did happen, that you can tap into a strength and a power never before seen and never before felt through Christ, through faith in Him, through putting Him as the rock in your foundation in your life. I truly believe that, and I will truly stand on that. And that will be how I live my life, and that is the hill I will die on above all else. Like I said, even with the whole Charlie Kirk situation, like I don't want to die on the hill of politics. Like I don't want to die, and I'm going to talk about that further in this video, but I don't want to die on the hill of politics because I think it's so feeble. I think to die on that hill of belief in God and in Jesus Christ and in giving your life up to Him is just something worth more to me. It's something that makes more sense just in the grand scheme of life in general. It makes more sense. So I believe that those things are true, that those things did happen, that the Holy Word is truth, and it is, and Jesus is the truth. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And following Him, it will not, there's nothing else in the world that will give you more satisfaction and more just pure joy and peace in your life than God, than Jesus Christ. And I truly believe that, and I will truly stand on that. And I will truly argue that cause against the people that don't believe that as much as is possible, basically. So that is the first and most important, most true, most real hill that I will die on. It's the foundation for my life. It's what I talk about all the time on this show for a reason, because I use this show as a way to glorify God as much as I can. I know I fall short, but I try my best, right? And I know I'm imperfect, but the beauty of it is that yes, you are imperfect. Yes, you are human. Yes, you will sin, and you are God's creation, and you will fall short. And we chose to kill our God rather than to crown Him in glory. So of course, but He loves us, and He is greater than all of it, and He is greater than all evil and all fear and in all of our human sin. And at the end of it all, He will save us, and He has already paid the price, and it's just up to you to give your life up to Him. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. It's whoever believes on Him. It's not whoever works for Him. It's not whoever does all of these things for the kingdom. It's whoever believes in Him, puts their faith in Him. That's all you need to do. And yes, faith can be done through action, but it is truly all that you need to do to attain just a greater life on this earth and in the life to come. And I will stand by that. I will stand by that as the most beautiful, glorious thing that exists in this world every day. And I will only grow in faith every day. And I know I'm imperfect, but just knowing that our God already paid the price. He already knew these things would be happening. Putting your faith in Him is what saves you. It's the most beautiful thing. It's the most glorious thing. And I will always be kind of having that as my foundation throughout my life. So that is the hill I will die on. The second hill that I will die on, so to speak, is dreams. Dream chasing. And I will call myself out here, because if you've watched this show, even my demeanor, even the words I would say, even my rhetoric even what I would kind of lean towards my dream to be a pro footballer, the thing that I went out to try and achieve, the thing I went to Europe to go and try and achieve. I've been in professional environments. I've tried my best to go and do it. In recent times, I've just been trying to move away from it. I've just been trying to just distance myself from it, try and find a new identity, try and find a new thing to build my life off of. And and I caught myself a little bit like a couple days ago, very, very recent reflection that I caught myself slipping away and losing this identity. But I asked the question, well, why? Why was I trying so hard to get this dream out of my life? Because I truly believe that that improbable goal, that improbable dream, that thing that is so unlikely but kind of is super unique to the vast majority of people, for me, I was blessed with football. And that was the thing that I had that I went and tried and went for. But then why was I giving it up? Why was I giving it up? So I'm calling myself out here a little bit. Like, why was I just trying to distance myself from it? I'm 20 years old. I'm not 25. If you're 25, at some point you have to realize, okay, yes, it's not going to happen. But am I really at that point at 20 years old? And for the last few months, I was kind of starting to feel like that was the case. But I truly believe that my dream is a gift from God because not a lot of people have this passion, have this dream for something that is different. Right? A lot of people, they get out of high school and they don't know what they're doing, so they go to university and they waste their money on a degree. They're trying to find themselves, they're trying to figure out what they want from this life, and then they end up working an office job and they end up not actually pursuing their passion. But but I truly will die on that hill that the dream, that bigger thing, that thing that makes you different, that makes you extraordinary, that thing that's improbable specifically, will separate you, and it is that thing that will grant you a lot of great joy and fruits and fulfillment in life. Is that dream, is that thing that will grant you great passion and great desire. Like when I was in the midst of it, and I know I was beaten and battered at times on the football pitch, and it was a tough time, and it was a lot that I had to go through. But when I was truly in the passion of it, there was nothing more passionate in my life. When I was truly just enjoying my football, there was nothing more great and more passionate, more fulfilling in my life. So I catch myself slipping away from it. And even when I say on the podcast, it's not over yet, but I'm not really sure where I'm going. It's like, why? Why are you not sure? Why are you so kind of mañana? Like you don't really know where you're going. Why not just lean more into it? Why not just go for it and give it another shot? Go for it a couple more times. And when you're at the point where you really have given it all, then you can quit. But maybe I'm not there yet. And it's funny because I was in this exact situation. If you've been following the show even in the earlier days, we're talking like November, December, when I was in like my door-to-door sales type of time, I realized back then that I was still not done. Like I don't know how long I'm going to go for, but I know I'm not done. And now I've kind of spent longer time maybe feeling like I was done for the longest time, and feeling that kind of depression, that identity loss, trying to figure out where I'm going with my life. But really it's like maybe I'm just not done still. And I ought not to be done. And I think that's like kind of the thing that I've realized. I ought not to be done because I'm still young, and that dream, that's been what's made my life my life. That's been what's made me me. So why would I just give it up just because other people say things, just because the world and life and things have changed? Why do I let other people tell me what to do with my life? Why do I let other people tell me what to do with my passion? It's something that I don't think is over. And it's definitely not over because things are coming up and opportunities are coming up for me to go and have another shot at this thing. So I'm now, maybe I should have realized this a couple months ago. Maybe I wouldn't have been in such like a depressing moment, because I definitely had those tough, depressing moments in like the spring and early summer. But I will die on that hill that the dream, that you ought to have a dream. That not everyone has that dream. Not everyone has that thing that separates them. But I have been blessed with that thing that separates me. So why am I giving it up? So I will die on that hill that you should never give up that dream. If you have that thing that you want to pursue, that passion that you truly have within your heart, go for it. Truly, give all your might and soul and energy to it and go for it. I truly do think that that will teach you many amazing things in life, and it will be a foundation, and it will be a springboard, not a foundation because God's the foundation, but it will be the springboard for you to find what other thing you want to achieve in your life. Maybe you will get to that dream and you will realize like that was what you were wanting your whole life. And there's really nothing else better than pursuing that thing. right? But it is that springboard. And even if you don't achieve it, the lessons you'll learn, the things you went through, will help you maybe find your other path, your true calling, the thing that maybe you'll actually go and achieve and live a great life because of it. I can already say that I've learned many, many great lessons from my football journey. But it's like, why am I so quick to why am I so quick to quit? Why am I so quick to just say that it's done? Why am I letting other people dictate me? So I've realized this, and I think that is something that I did want to really just hone in and drive that point home when it comes to the dream. The dream chasing. You should go and chase your dreams. You should go and chase your dreams. I will die on that hill. Whatever it is. If it's a sporting dream, if it's art, if it's like whatever, right? Whatever the thing is, business, whatever the thing is. Go for it. Because I know people in my life that had a dream that got it beaten out of them and they've just lost the soul. They've lost that passion that they've had for it. And you can tell in the way that they talk about that thing that they don't really have the love for that thing anymore. And that's a sad thing, man. That really is a sad thing. And I caught myself kind of falling into that pattern as well, where I ought not to. And I'm going to kind of regulate my emotions and get myself back into that dream chasing mindset because of course, because I think there's really nothing better and nothing more fulfilling than the journey of it. So so that's what I encourage you to do if you have a dream yourself, and that is the hill that I die on. That the dream is a very, very important thing that grants you just great breath of life. Really, it's breath of life that you get from some dream, especially if you know that it's a dream that God has given you, that He has planted in your heart. And I know through my life and through all my experiences that is the case. The football thing is God's gift to me. So why am I trying to separate myself from it? I should lean into it even more, and that is what I'm planning on doing in my life going forward. So I encourage you to do the same if you have a big dream. Because again, it's perspective. Not everyone has it. Not everyone has that passion for something. But if you do have that passion for something, lean into it. Lean into it, truly. And even if you don't achieve that thing, you'll learn many lessons that help you achieve what your true life's calling is meant to be. That's the second hill that I will die on. The third hill that I will die on is the politics. I did hint at it a little bit. Politics is a scam. That is the third hill that I will die on. And as I've kind of gone through it and I was in the midst of politics, I was moving far and far right wing. I was in like the whole Trump camp and I was in all that stuff, right? I'll be vulnerable and I'll be real to that I was supporting all of these things. And I was thinking that you can go in and some guy can come in and change things. But in recent times, and starting from perhaps like September of last year, when I saw in me how much politics was making me angry towards other people, and how much it was making me hate other people, how politics, the idea of it is designed just to divide people, just to get you to hate someone who's a good person, who's a kind heart, just because they disagree with you on something. You just pure hatred, not even just a debate. No, pure hatred is where it goes to always with politics. Anger, screaming, yelling at each other because you disagree on some perspective. And I've seen that with many people, and I've seen how it's hurt me, it's hurt my perception on people. So I want to distance myself from it. Of course, when I think about God's will for my life, you ought to love people. And politics only gets you to hate people. And the saddest thing about politics is that nobody, left or right, nobody that's in power is actually there for you. The person, the population, the people that actually live in the country. You just look at all the things that are happening. Of course, they just want the power. They just want the status. They just want to steal the money. And there's so much bureaucracy. There's so much red tape that even if there's someone in there that wants to get stuff done, they can't get anything done because there's so much corruption in every single government system. The government, they just tax you, they just take your money, they just take everything from you, and they don't actually do anything significant with it. They send it out to Ukraine, they send it out to Israel and Iran, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And it's no wonder why so many people are kind of hating their governments. But the trap that people fall into is that they go and they vote for this new person thinking that this new person is going to change it. But no new person in government is going to change anything. So the governments are all there and they're against you. And once you realize that the government is not for you, it is against you, it is kind of freeing, I think. It is a little bit freeing to realize that yes, all of this stuff and all these narratives are there to just divide people, to keep people distracted. And I heard a saying that, like yesterday, I heard a saying that was That's pretty crazy, right? When the devil can't destroy you, he'll distract you. And politics is a way that he does that. That it's just a distraction from the fact that the governments are just taking money, that they are just stealing from the population, that they don't care about you, that they're passing laws that are just unreasonable, that they're allowing people into your country that are making things worse, that the crime is still not being solved, that homelessness is still not being solved. And all this stuff could be solved if they actually tried and if they actually cared, but no one is actually trying to do that. They're just funding wars in other countries, and they're letting this stuff just get worse and worse and worse because their pockets are being filled. That they personally, the people that are in that system, are benefiting from it with money and with, of course, the power hungriness, the status, the freedom to engage in their, again, Epstein Island, the freedom to engage in their kind of just crazy desires, just insane desires, disgusting, disgraceful things that they went through, and not get caught because of power, because of status, because of fame, because of having a name that is out there, whatever it may be. You're never going to be helped by the government. Just realize that now. And that is the third hill that I will die on. That politics is an absolute scam. That everyone in there is not there to help you. They're just there to make things worse for you. And they're trying to make things worse for you because you just have to look around you. Like, use your eyes and see the situations around you. Like, I live in Toronto. I just see that there's a homeless guy on every corner. The other day, they're in the bus stop. There was a guy who had his pants down. We literally saw his butt crack, and he was high on some crap. It's like, why do we live in societies where that's the case? Why don't we fix this situation? It's fixable. You can help these people, but no one wants to. It's because they don't want to fix it. They want it to be broken, and they want us, the population, the sheep, to just be mad at each other. But we ought not to be mad at each other because it's not like liberal and conservative. It's not like we're not enemies. Truly, you have different values and different beliefs, and that's okay. But politics is so quick to turn something like that into something destructive, something angry and hateful and resentful towards each other. But it's taking our eyes off of the real truth that it's not left versus right. It's good versus evil. And the people that run the world, majority of them are evil. And even the people that are trying to do good, they don't have enough of a say. They can't actually get anything done because of all the bureaucracy, of all the corruption, all the red tape. In democracies, in America, and of course in Europe, and just pretty much everywhere else around the world. Save like a few countries that actually do it right. Few countries. But it's like there's so many countries in the world, and only like 5 of them max do it in a solid way, have a pretty decent economy and a pretty decent crime rate, and do things in a good way. Like, that's a pretty bad statistic, and especially like America and Canada, definitely not one of those, not any of those countries for sure. So that's the third hill that I die on. That politics is a scam meant to divide people, and the governments are not there to help you, and the people on top are just there to take for themselves. And anything that is bad in society is there on purpose because they want it to be bad. They just want to slowly strip away you from your rights, you the average person, from your rights and from your freedoms. And that's the truth. And maybe we've already been stripped away from all our rights and all our freedoms as well. So that's the third hill. So don't let politics dictate your life. Let God dictate your life. Let your belief in something more true and more real and more fruitful dictate your life. Don't let politics dictate your life. Don't let that kind of anger seep within you, because I've seen it in myself, and I've seen just how destructive it can be, and just how much I've pushed certain people away in my life because of these exact political divisions and disagreements. And it's destructive. So that what has taught me that it just doesn't matter. It is a scam, and it is there to divide, nothing else. And the fourth and final hill that I will die on is that if you exercise and you eat healthy and you sleep well, that is really all you need for a formula for a healthy life, for a long-lasting life. Unless something crazy happens, and unless, unfortunately, whether the world goes to crap or you just get in a circumstance that you can't really control in your life, it really is simple. But so many people fail to actually do it. They fail to actually be consistent with exercise, diet, and sleep. And those are just 3 basic things. You're in bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. You have a consistent and good sleep schedule. You're eating healthy foods. You can have a cheat day here and there, but for the most part, you're eating healthy foods, fruits, veggies, carbs, and protein throughout your life, and healthy fats throughout your day, and you're exercising at least once every single day. like vigorous exercise, a combination of resistance training and cardio, and maybe some lighter walking at times, and maybe playing sports to actually enjoy it a little bit. That's what so little people actually do. Like if you look at especially American statistics, Canada is a little bit better and Europe is a little bit better, but it's still not the same. Very few people actually do this. Like it's not that complicated to live a long healthy life. It's not that complicated because like it just takes you exercise once a day every day for an hour. Like it's not like it doesn't take that much time. You eat healthy food. A lot of healthy food actually tastes good, believe it or not. Like I love like strawberries and raspberries. Stuff tastes amazing, right? Yogurt tastes great. Like healthy food most of the time actually doesn't taste that bad. But so obviously sometimes like with vegetables, yes, vegetables don't really, you have to not eat. You have to not eat only good tasting foods, but you need to have a good healthy diet. And you need to sleep well. If you do those three things on a consistent level for a good amount of time, you're basically adding years to your life. You're basically like saying that unless something crazy goes wrong, but if God willing, you're able to live to that age, you will live to 80 years old, 90 years old and still be healthy, still be mobile, still be able to be strong and have good cognition in your mind. Like there's connections with all that stuff to cognition as well as you get older, and you will just live a longer, more fruitful, lasting life. But very few people actually do it. Like very few people actually are consistent with those three things, but it really is simple. Like from that practical perspective, it really is super simple to take care of your body in that way. If you take care of your body, everything else will fall into place, and that is the foundation, right? Your body's your temple. That's a biblical quote and a biblical idea. So of course, right, going back with the theme that if you follow the works and teachings of the Bible, your life will be better. If you look at your body as a temple, you're not going to treat it in a bad way. You're not going to treat it by just being lazy, eating chips and pizza and ice cream and nonsense and garbage and all sorts of terrible man-made, man-manufactured foods that just have all sorts of terrible things in it, and that will just make you fat because you're not exercising and you're not eating good. And sleeping badly is just bad for stress levels, it's bad for anxiety, it's bad for your overall mentality and mood. Like if you sleep better, you will be more willing to exercise and go out there and do a little bit more, right? You'll feel more energized to do these things. So like it is basic, but like no one really does it. Like a lot of people are obese, the vast majority of people are overweight, the vast majority of people do eat terrible food, they eat fast food, their pantry is filled with all sorts of garbage and nonsense, and they don't sleep well. They stay up late or they have to wake up early to go to work, but they just don't get a good night's sleep. And they're on their screens before bed, and that causes the quality of your sleep to be worse. That is like the basic standard that everyone has. And it's like, to me, that's crazy. To me, that's crazy. As a person who exercises every day, who eats healthy, who tries his best to sleep well, even if I struggle at that part, like I'm trying my best to get a good sleep schedule, but I struggle sometimes. As a person who has exercise and has a healthy body and has body as your temple as like the main foundation of my life and how it's helped me in so many amazing ways, it is crazy to me that so many people don't do that. And it is crazy how basic and how easy it is. You eat well, you sleep well, and you exercise once a day. And you do that for a good amount of time, like it's pretty basic. It's pretty simple. As I've been learning about personal training, and as I've been learning about kind of the science of it, you can get into the nuance of how you do your exercise and how you balance it out. But the truth is, it really isn't that hard to lose weight. It really, really isn't. Like, unless you have like an actual condition, which people have and it's unfortunate, then like, yes, then I give my grace to you. Like, yes, for you it's difficult. But if you're just overweight because you've just not exercised and you've eaten like crap your whole life, it's really not that hard to change your habits. What is hard is the mentality of it. And that's why personal training is so good, because as a personal trainer, you're the guy that keeps your client accountable. And that's why it's a good business model, because you're keeping someone accountable. But there are personal trainers that like you have a client and they never lose weight because what they do outside of the hour long exercise is not good. Like they eat like crap and they sleep like crap. But if you get those three things, like I'll die on the hill, right? I'll die on the hill that if you get those three things in order, on point for a consistent amount of time, you will just live a more fruitful life. You will have more energy throughout your life, throughout your days, and you will live longer. You will live longer. And you'll be able to do more. You'll be able to do more with your life as well, just by being more fit in general, being more mobile in general. So that's to say that you can't enjoy your food. You can definitely enjoy your food at times, but you should definitely, for the most part, have healthy things. Eat fruits and veggies every day. Eat a lot of protein every day, and try your best to have a consistent sleep schedule. Being in bed early is probably the best thing you can do for yourself. And of course, exercising once a day every day. Sometimes you'll do more vigorous exercise, sometimes you'll do less vigorous exercise, but just burning those calories, just getting moving, just moving your body in that way, it's a valuable thing that really can't be put into words, other than the fact that it will help you have more energy and live a longer life. And it is surprising to me just how little people actually do that, and just how many more people are miserable and stressed and anxious. But if you were to do these things, all of those types of feelings will just go away or be suppressed to a level where you'll be like, like I just feel a lot better about myself, and this is good. So that's a third hill. That's a fourth hill that I'll die on. That just those three things, that it is actually easier than you might think to lose weight, to gain muscle, to just live a better, more longer life. But it takes just those three very simple things that so many people can't do. It's more of a mental thing than a physical thing. Doing those things, giving up the comfort foods, right? Being in bed early, giving up the staying up late, right? Being in bed early. It's a discipline, right? It's a discipline. And of course, physical exercise sometimes actually physically it's taxing, right? You're pushing your muscles, you're pushing your body to its limits. So it's more of a mental thing that you have to overcome, a discipline that you have to overcome, than the actual physical things that you're dealing with. But physically, it's very simple. It really is. So I will die on that hill that it is very simple, and it just takes those three simple changes to your life that will help you. That will help you lose the weight, and it will help you live a more fulfilling life. So those are the hills that I will die on. Those are, I think, like that's kind of how I base my life off of, I'm gonna be honest. Those are the four main hills that I will die on. First one being the most important, of course, my belief in God. Foundation being Jesus Christ, faith in Him. If you put that as your foundation, you follow His teaching, you will live a greater life. But those other three as well, I don't want to kind of take away from those other three. Those other three are also very, very important, and that's pretty much, you can probably go as far as to say that that's my life philosophy. That is how I try to live my life every day. It's based on those things. God is the center, but I'm going to be going out there and pursuing my dreams over anything else, doing what is passionate for me, avoiding politics and all sorts of nonsense that it brings, and focusing on keeping my body right by exercising every day, by eating healthy, and by sleeping well, or at least try my best. The sleep is maybe the one thing out of those three that I need to work on a little bit better myself. But I know how important it is, and I've seen in my life just how better my day is when I have a great night of sleep versus when I don't. So that is this episode. That is me kind of putting it out there and leaving it out there on the internet for me to look back on. And of course, if things change in my life and in the world, for you guys to have a video to look back on for my own beliefs. And I think, of course, these are my beliefs, and I want you guys to have the beliefs. But I truly think that this is the truth. I truly think that's why these are hills that I die on, because this is the truth, and this is the truth of life. And if you do these things, and if you follow these things, and if you kind of base your life off of these things, your life will be better. Your life will be just more fulfilling. So that is what I gotta say for this episode, and that is kind of the ultimate message of me talking about these hills that I die on, because I truly believe that if you at least go through and you at least put God at the center of your life will be way better, and it will be more fruitful, more fulfilling. These other things are also important as well, but nothing more than putting Jesus Christ as your foundation. So thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. These are the hills that I will die on. Will I actually, gun to my head, like keep these values even if like my life's on the line? I don't know. That's kind of, you're getting nuanced about it, but when you're just using the figure of speech, these are the hills that I'll die on. These are the hills. These are the things. These are the philosophies. These are the concepts that I will die on, that I live my life based off of, and that I truly believe are the truth of the world. So thank you for watching. I ask that you show your support on this episode in any way that you can. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify. If you haven't done that yet, I truly appreciate any way that you can support this show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate it. You can go watch some of the other great content I've put on this show. I'll leave it in the cards. I'll leave it in the description, as I always do in every single episode. So thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. Continue to glorify God every day throughout your life. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow for the next one.